I call the City Council meeting of June 24th to order. Roll call, please.
Alderman Anderson.
Here.
Alderman Dolick.
Here.
Alderman Cameron.
Here.
Alderman Morgan Adams.
Here.
Alderman Dash.
Here.
Please rise for the pledge. Okay, approval of minutes. I need a motion to approve the June 10th, 2024 City Council regular meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Morgan Adams.
Aye.
Alderman Dash.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Cameron.
Aye.
Alderman Dolick.
Aye.
Motion passes. Presentations, we just have one today from the Prospect Heights Natural Resources Commission to create a 501c3 tax exempt organization, the Friends of PHNRC.
Yes. Thank you, Mayor, Alderman, council members. My name is Dana Severson. I'm here tonight with my fellow commissioners, and we're looking to ask the council to consider letting us become a 501(c)(3) for the purpose of raising additional funds. Right now, as a commission from the city, we can't solicit funds, we can't sell anything, we can't charge for services or anything of that nature. So we have our operational budget, and then what I want to show you here is that in spite of those handicaps, we've done pretty well with people wanting to give us money. I think we've created a lot of goodwill. I think the results of the work that we do is extremely tangible and can be seen all over the place. And I think for that reason, people want to be part of it and they want to give to us. We've heard two questions most commonly, and one is, are you a 501(c)(3), and the other one is, why don't we have anything like this in our suburbs? So I think we're doing pretty good. Taking a quick look here at an overview in 2016 and then repeated in 2017, there was an anonymous private donation of $4,500. The first one in 2016 started the summer intern program, and it was so successful that that anonymous donor re-upped the next year in 2017. We added another intern, I think was city funded. And then 2018, the funding for one of those intern positions went away. And the commissioners at that point stepped up and provided some money. And then lo and behold, the Rotary Club of Prospect Heights and Mount Prospect stepped up and covered the balance of $2,600. We as a commission have always supplemented our operational budgets to the tune of $4,000 to $6,000 a year of personal funds, just so that we can get work done, or we just run to the store and get something we need immediately, and just put it on a continuing tab. So if you look at there's also a lot of garden clubs and garden societies. Those things come about when people ask us to come and talk, and there's usually a stipend that's involved with it, and so we're glad to take that. 2021, we had again some volunteers who actually gave us money just because they want to do more than just volunteer. And then commissioner donations, and then for the first time we received a $3,000 gift from the Hinman family. They're a pretty unique group of people. There was a matriarch, she's since departed, but she would give the kids, and in this case the husband and the wife and the grandkids, they would give them all money, and then they would research charitable organizations to give that to, and then they would come together as a group and talk about it. Well, this year they decided to pool the money and give it all to PHNRC. So that was quite a gift. We continued on in 2023, 22 to 23. Dr. Wood, Chris Wood, contributed $500. There was a stipend from the library for the talk we gave. The Park District had a stipend for the camp we did, and our operational supplies and a garden club. 2023, Dr. Chris Wood, another $500, and 2 more volunteers, another $500. Park District $500, and commissioners, of course, and the Hinman family contributed another $1,500. And then just this last year, we saw a donation from Chris Wood to the tune of $4,000. Now, with all these donations, what we try to do with these is to look for a way to maximize the value of those dollars and get the most possible return for the donors. We want them to feel really good about what they've done, and we want to feel good about it too. So we've used those funds to do things like improve habitat, increase the aesthetic experience for the public, underscore our educational process, and to increase the visibility of the NRC, or to, in this case, match ComEd grants. These funds are never used for operational needs. Oops. So with the $3,000 from the Hinman grant, for instance, we installed a 100 native plum trees, creating a plum grove in the name of the Hinmans that will run from Hillside Avenue to the entrance on Isaac Walden Park. Those trees will provide a valuable food source for the wildlife. It has a double duty of replacing the shield there for noise that affects the inside of the slough and the residents on Hillside. And then it gives an aesthetic show, a display of flowers, of white flowers every spring. The balance of that gift was used to purchase educational giveaway items from the University of Illinois. We're a partner with their Prairie Group. So we buy things from them for educational purposes at wholesale. And then we used the rest of the funds to buy signage to increase our visibility at public events. Here's an example of that signage. So you see there's 2 pop-up banners there. It tells a lot of information, a lot of photos. It's pretty easy to talk through that with people and show them what's going on. We have a major banner for the commission we use at parades and events. Here's some more signs. Volunteer sign that we use at events. Out in the field, we want to identify plants, and the more of these little signs that we can put out to identify plants, the more people can educate themselves about what they're looking at, and hopefully they'll enjoy it more. And so we try to use as many of those as possible. And then we have a lot of funds that go into purchasing of educational materials for the interns and for our work with the 214 and the MacArthur Middle School. Matching grants. We've also put in $5,000 for the boardwalk project, which was really terrific. That boardwalk has just completely changed the park. And then in an upcoming bid that we hope we'll find out in early June or July that we actually received the grant, we've put in $7,000 and turned into the matching pool for another ComEd grant. And this is for the service pollinator public works service park. Other notable organizations with 501c3 status. One of the biggest and the best is the McKinley Conservation Foundation. They're the philanthropic partner of the McHenry County Conservation District for 25 years. And they do a lot. All of the organizations that have 501(c)(3)s are pretty much focused on the same things as we would do. And that's land acquisition, environmental education, land and water protection, and outdoor recreation. So in the case of McHenry, they have $141.5 million that they've used to purchase open space over 6,800 acres. And it ensures that the land will be preserved as natural habitat. Their educational environment, they build visitor centers, educational centers, land and water protection, and then outdoor recreation. They have tons of programs where there's all kinds of opportunities for the public. Here's a few of these organizations, and I encourage you to try to go to these websites and take a look at these organizations, because the work they do is just incredible and something that we would like to parallel as well. Friends of the Forest Preserve, of course, is Cook County, the Nature Foundation of Will County, Citizens for Conservation. They're probably the closest thing that is most like the NRC of all these in terms of scale, except they just bought a Hillendale farm for $10 million. It's like 110 acres. So that's a little bit about us. They have the Friends of Nachusha Grasslands, Fermilab Natural Areas, the Nature Conservancy, and the Morton Arboretum. So those are organizations that are basically doing the same things, and the shortest presentation I've ever given. We're ready to take questions. So if anybody has questions, my compadres will be happy to answer as well. Yes.
If I can use your mic. I think it's a great idea, and I'm supportive of it. My question though is are all these donations received in cash?
Well, no, I mean, someone could, for instance, give land to us. We could, if somehow, a parcel of land was available and someone wanted to donate it to the commission, or to the Friends of the NRC, then yes, you could accept that donation.
That's not what I'm really getting at. What I'm getting at is are these donations sometimes given to you in check form?
Yes, they're given to us in check form.
So you have an alternate account outside of the city that you're using to process?
No, those checks have been made out to the city of Prospect Heights for the purpose of the NRC, and then Peter Falcone puts them into our account. The problem with that is that those funds need to be spent by the same sort of timeline of when we have to spend all the regular money in our operational budgets. And sometimes what we intend to do with that doesn't necessarily coincide from a timeline standpoint. So this would free us up from that, because we wouldn't have a time restriction on when we'd have to spend the funds.
Okay, well, I didn't know that actually.
Yeah.
I was unaware that you were doing deposits that were essentially not for the purpose of paying for operational expenses, but for the purposes of, call it infrastructure or something like that,
Right.
So that would, the 501c3 would allow you to set up a separate outside account
Yes.
that you could manage yourselves rather than go through the city to do the receipts and the disbursements.
Correct. You would have your own account, you'd have your own board of directors, everything. It would be a separate organization completely.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
And I just want to add, and you could do your own fundraising as well, which you can't do right now.
Correct.
That's
We could
really
do
critically
fundraising, we
important.
could do plant sales,
Right.
we could do consulting services, we
Right.
could go to Buckthorn.
There's a whole realm
a
of
whole
things that you
plethora of
can do.
things
Right.
that could actually be done, yes, absolutely.
Questions? On this side? No?
So it would be in addition to what you're already doing?
Correct.
Okay.
Mhm.
So the funds in the budget now would continue to maintain what your operations are
Correct.
for now?
Correct.
You're looking to grow donations for all the extra things that would not be in the budget?
Correct. There's, for instance, there's, there are things that are really important to salvage and to save in Prospect Heights. One is for instance, probably the oldest oak tree in Prospect Heights is on Palatine Road. It's connected to a parcel of land that was, it's still listed for sale, but apparently there's another cash offer on it. You worry about the fate of that tree, and that's a legacy tree. It's got to be what, a couple hundred years old, guys, at least. For a developer to come in and just chop that down, it would make everybody sick. So, things like that, we would look to. How can we do this? How can we protect this? How can we save it? Do we buy the land that the tree is sitting on? There's all kinds of scenarios like that we would, take a look at.
And additional grants that cannot be.
Right, there are grants that are only available for land conservation, things that will only go to 501(c)(3), and that's another venue, another opportunity for us to apply for those kinds of grants for land acquisition, for educational purposes. When we started this, we were in this for the long haul always, and so we're thinking of succession and permeability. We don't want this to go away when we go away. We want to make sure that this continues on and is a functional body. And part of that helps with funding that, and who knows, it could lead to funding a position of a full-time resources manager to run the NRC eventually. I mean, there's all kinds of possibilities that money, of course, provides. So.
Also, if I could add, I'm Edward Madden, one of the commissioners. So there's two things we're asking from the council, is support in creating one and then help in actually getting it started. So we want to do this with full approval by the council since we are a commission, but we do need to seek both of those actions from you.
Mr. Mayor? Yeah, first of all, thank you for the presentation, and I'm in support of this. My question is actually going to be directed to Joe. I know the city had some concerns, and I think there are concerns that could be addressed and rectified, but Joe, would you expand on that, please?
Sure, and just NRC background, when something like this comes up, I give council my reading. I certainly see there's a number of benefits. It's already working in play. We listed a number of donations, but this would be much easier. But there are a number of projects. And most recently, and there's Mark Roscoe, we've used the donation leverage for the Commonwealth Edison, which I think we've had 3 or 4 in the Park District as a number of grants. We've been pretty successful with that. But this is a project over between the police station and the fire station. It's kind of a no man's land. It's a nondescript piece of property. Mark Roscoe came to the council several years ago, I think, with an idea to just maybe enhance it. It's very blah right now. And the plan was, but it was a tough budget. We didn't have the money for it, and that was the end of it. Working with the NRC, which has obtained donations, we could leverage the local match for that to then get $5,000, so additional $5,000 for funding. So now this project has a really good possibility of happening, which would not have happened without this de facto structure that we've had in place. So there are a number of great things that you can do with it, and certainly there's probably areas that enhance it. But I also have a very legitimate concern as a city administrator that if somebody did not want property developed maybe next to their house, they prefer to be undeveloped, call it a nature conservancy, maybe you buy it and then turn it, and that might be against what the NRC would like, probably a number of properties they'd like to keep, but that also takes property off the tax rolls. We can't get a school referendum passed, we can't get a park district referendum because we have such a small tax base that it becomes a tremendous burden on. So that would be my concern, that there'd be some mechanism for the city to maintain on that, because it could come into where, geez, I really would rather have the property next to my house is vacant, and I prefer that. I'll buy it and turn it over, it'll become a conservancy. And I don't think that really serves the city well.
The other thing that could happen, or have some restrictions, is that, let's say, this house wants to donate it, or they're gonna buy this lot, and the Conservancy wants to turn it into a prairie. Full Illinois prairie, ticks and wild little animals all over it, and you live right next door. And so, I asked, that's a concern to me.
So couldn't we just limit some of the powers and authority?
Yes, I think so. I think there's a way. I support the idea, but we have to have a mechanism so that there's city authority on that, so it doesn't become just a backdoor to do the externalities.
Right.
And so our city attorneys then could basically draft,
Sure.
draft a proposal for that.
Any other questions?
Oh, we're not, this was just a presentation. Right.
Just a couple things. Have you talked to the Park District?
No, we haven't. We've talked to Christina about it, but we didn't, go into details like we've done here.
Okay. Because obviously, a lot of the land use that you work on is Park District too, so I would think they would be equal as far as.
I think to answer some of those questions, you have to go back to the beginning of the Common Prairie over underneath the power lines on Elmhurst Road. That was a struggle with the residents there for probably 3 years before the tide turned. Part of that was because we didn't do a good enough job on informing the residents what was about to happen or what was going to happen. We've learned that we really have to hone our skills with communicating with people what we're going to do, when we're going to do it, and it's really changed everything. But the success of the projects that we have has also changed a lot of public sentiment as well. So I think there's a balance there that has to happen, and we're cognizant of that.
If I could just add too, land acquisition is the least likely. Because that's more of kind of a pipe dream, other people have done that, but that's really not the focus of it. It's really garnering additional money for more of our day-to-day projects.
Right.
So that's not to say that you don't want to protect against circumstances like that, but that's not our main motivation for this.
Right.
I think you know that I'm a late adopter of the NRC as far as seeing the benefit of it. At first I wasn't.
Better late than never.
That what you did on the power lines, at first you're right. It was very
Rough.
hard to see through the trees there. What was going to happen, right? So, but I agree. That you guys do a great job with what you do, and my only concern is, just like anything, I'm always worried about the legal aspect of it and how it's set up. And I think since you're just here asking, I'm assuming you're going to go to the Park District, at least present it to them. I'm sure they're going to feel the same way. I can't speak for them, but I can't imagine that they wouldn't. But I think, I don't know if our city attorney has enough information tonight to go out and figure out if this could be done later on. But if he has any questions, I'm sure he can call you and set up.
Yeah, I'll get your contact information.
Okay.
Give you those.
All right.
Yeah, so I think it's safe to say the council is in favor as long as it's something that can be done
Correct.
not to the detriment of the city and its structure, right? You know, that there's an arm's length relationship between everything and that it's legal and
Okay, cool.
so, but thank you.
Thank you very much for your time, really, greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. Appointments, confirmations, and proclamations. Item A, appointment of Lloyd Austin to the North Shore Convention and Visitors Bureau Board of Directors. Need a motion to approve.
So moved. Anderson?
Second, Cameron.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Dolick.
Aye.
Alderman Cameron.
Aye.
Alderman Dash.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Morgan Adams.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item B, appointment of Lloyd Austin to the Tourism District Board of Directors. Need a motion to approve.
So moved, Morgan Adams.
Anderson, second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions?
Does,
Roll call. Oh.
does Lloyd have any questions, or does he want to say anything?
I think, you can ask questions.
I mean, does
I
he-
don't have any questions.
You have any questions you want to
He's
say?
being assigned, not appointed.
Okay.
We have a first and a second. Roll call, please.
Alderman Morgan Adams.
Aye.
Alderman Dash.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Cameron.
Aye.
Alderman Dolick.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 6, public comment on agenda matters. Did we receive any requests?
Not on agenda matters.
Nothing on the agenda? I'm gonna ask anybody out there, just because we're not a lot of people here, we can ask if anybody wanted to say anything about an agenda item? No? All right. Item 7, we don't have a consent agenda today. Item 8, old business. Ordinance O-2416, staff memo and ordinance approving planned unit development amendments and certain variations for the property commonly known as Prospect Crossing Shopping Center, 1217 through 1297 North Rand Road, Prospect Heights, Illinois. This is the second reading. Let's get it on the table. Let's have a motion to approve.
So moved, Morgan Adams.
Anderson, second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? Any changes, Dan?
No, just want to let you know, Amir Rafidia is here representing Manning tonight, if there were any questions.
Are there any questions? Yes.
How soon are you gonna start?
Let me get on my dad, you know he likes to move fast, so we'll get it going.
All right.
We're excited.
Okay.
Yeah.
We are too.
Thank you for the support, guys, I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So we have a motion and a second. Can we get a roll call?
Alderman Dolick.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Dash.
Aye.
Alderman Morgan Adams.
Aye.
Alderman Cameron.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 9A. We're just gonna postpone that or table that? Do we need to table it? Do you?
Yeah.
So let's have a motion to table item 9A
Make that
until
motion
future
to,
meeting.
Table 9A.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second, Cameron.
A motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Alderman Morgan Adams.
Aye.
Alderman Dash.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Cameron.
Aye.
Alderman Dolick.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item B, Resolution 2424, staff memo and resolution authorizing a civil engineering servicers agreement with Gewalt Hamilton Associates Incorporated for design engineering services for Elm Street culvert improvements. The motion to approve.
So moved, Morgan Adams.
Second, Cameron.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions about this? So you want to maybe just give a
Sure.
30-second explanation as to why we need this?
Sure. This has been identified as a need within our stormwater management planning. It's common in significant rainfall events. This area where the culvert, where the creek goes under Elm Street, near the park, it gets severe flooding. And Gewalt Hamilton, a few years ago, did a study. They recognized that the culvert is undersized. If there improvements could be made, that issue could be addressed. And importantly, when that floods, and floods during the baseball season, the baseball field is destroyed. And it costs, I think, costs the Park District $50,000 to $100,000 to restore that. That's happened multiple times, enough that their insurance representative, Padurma Park District Risk Management Agency, has flagged that as an area of concern. So this improvement not only would help the street flooding and so forth, but it also be important for loss prevention for the Park District, as well as just losing the Little League season for the season, so.
Anything else important about that?
I think we covered it. It was sponsored by Representative Walker.
There we go.
Okay, sorry. Representative Walker, Senator Old Habit, Senator Walker sponsored this within the state budget. So, we can thank him. This will be a good improvement, and it's been recognized as a stormwater management need.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Alderman Dash.
Aye.
Alderman Morgan Adams.
Aye.
Alderman Cameron.
Aye.
Alderman Dolick.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 10, May financial report by Finance Director Sherry.
Thank you,
Not
Mayor.
Assistant Finance.
Council, management. We are a full 31 days into our new year, so the financial statement is pretty early on in the year. Just a couple things to be cautious about. We're at 3.93% of overall expenditures for the city. The majority of that is related to capital, of course, and MFT expenses. We have not hit our capital expenditures, but they are coming, so it's a little bit misleading there. We have a couple revenue items that are showing up as pretty generous in our first month. Utility tax revenue, places of eating, income tax revenue. Those, again, they are timing related. They're based on when the state distributes the money. They're based on when our businesses pay us place of eating tax. So those overages or what they appear to be increased revenue really is probably related more to timing at this point in the year. It's a little early to have those details. I did want to just point out a little bit of a summary on our vehicle sticker revenue for the first few months, February through May, compared to last year. We brought in fiscal 25, February through May of 24, actually, $715,000 in those 4 months for this year, which turns into about 8,900 vehicle stickers sold through April 30th. Last year, that number was $684,000 for 8,500 stickers, so it's about 104% increase in compliance for this year based on the efforts of last year in trying to encourage compliance there. Besides that, there isn't much else to report on the financial unless somebody has any questions. I'm happy to answer. Okay.
Thank you. Item 11, approval of warrants.
The total for the warrants amounted to $303,383.35. Wire payments on June 14th, we had a payroll in the amount of $189,808.52. The May Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund amounted to $22,995.93, bringing the total warrant amount to $516,187.80 for tonight's council approval, please.
Okay, we need a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion to approve as presented.
Second, Morgan Adams.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Dolick.
Aye.
Alderman Cameron.
Aye.
Alderman Dash.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Morgan Adams.
Aye.
Motion passes. We're going to back up I left item 10 too quick. Staff and elected officials comments. Do any elected officials to my left have any reports to give? Oh, Rich, you are to my left.
Yes, I do.
Please state your name.
I'm going to use the microphone.
Okay.
I hope you don't mind. Yeah, I wanted to comment on the fact that I attended the Park District Block Party this Saturday, and even though it was hot, it was nice and windy, so it wasn't too bad. It was the wind was a cooling effect, so it counterbalanced each other, so it was good. It was a nice event, and the main thing I wanted to say is I want to give a shout out to our police chief, Bill Caponegro, for being able in the right place at the right time to perform the Heimlich maneuver on somebody who was choking, and I presume saved a life. So thank you for that, Bill. That was great. And I wanted to make sure that everybody in the town knew that. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
We can give him an applause, by the way.
Any elected officials on my right? No? Oh,
You're gonna bring up the run the rock my way?
bring it up if you want.
Go ahead.
Don't let Joe bring it
All right, Joe.
up. All right. Staff on my right, Peter, anybody? Mark, Dan?
All right,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
So, obviously, this is a busy time of year for us with the block party, the recycling events, the 4th of July parade coming up on the 6th, and Rock and Run this Saturday, the 5K in the morning, then the live, the evening entertainment. So, everybody, it's a great time. We've been doing it year after year. It gets better and better. Come out to it. Enjoy yourself.
Thank you.
Thank
That's
you.
it.
Thank you very much. It's disheartening to report this tonight, but the Irish paving fraud crews are back in town. On Friday, we had 2 cases over in Lake Claire Estates. We had another three reported, but could not confirm up in the Glenbrook area there. The good news is on Friday I was doing an inspection, saw what was going on, went over and talked to the owners and saved them over $10,000 for the paving contractors that were gonna charge them 10 grand to put a half-inch of new asphalt over a bad driveway. The scam works the same as they have been. We've been reporting the last couple of years. It's Friday or Saturday late afternoon, they knock on the door, offer a great deal. 2 out of the 3 that I've talked to this week were in their mid to upper 80s, so they're targeting seniors on the fraud. But the best thing to do is if someone knocks on your door, if you didn't call them, have them leave a card and tell them to go away. That's the easiest way to do that. But these guys have been well trained in sales presentations. They know the right words. It's like car salesmen. They try to find out what that trigger point is. It price? Is it how you want your property to look? And they'll attack that. But please know that driveway replacements do require permits. Period. They'll tell you, oh no, it's just like seal coating. You'll just do it. You can be in and out in a day, and you're 10 grand shorter, and your driveway is going to fail within a year. So that's all I have to say tonight.
Okay. Chief?
If I could just add on to Dan Peterson's comments, if you're in Prospect Heights, and I don't care if you see your neighbor talking with people that you think they might be scammed, give us a call. Let us check it out. And even if you have to say, well, let me confirm with the police first, and you're going to see them scat faster than you know what. So don't hesitate to let us do the checking for you or your neighbor. Sometimes being nosy is a great thing. Save people a lot of headaches.
If they don't know the number for the police office, can they dial 911?
911, that's how we get dispatched. Anything you need, you call 911. Whether you think it's an emergency or not, that's how we get dispatched.
Joe?
No reports?
Okay.
Thank you. We do have, Lloyd, the parade.
I'll just shout out the parade one more time too on Saturday, July 6th. It starts at 10:30. We've gotten lots of registrations so far, and you can contact the city, or we have registration forms here. Anyone can come out and join the parade, and looking forward to it.
And also take the opportunity, two organizations that help us out immensely with that. As a staging point, we use St. Hale's parking lot. And then following the parade, Lloyd, the hot dogs.
Yeah, there's a hot dog party after at Hebron Church. Gracious enough to do that.
And they have done that for years. Very,
They do a great
very
job.
great community members.
Yes, yes. Okay. Public comment on non-agenda matters. Do we have any?
Yes, we have one individual. Her name's Nikki Mullen. You can share with us the handling of a chicken issues, which you'd like to talk about.
Hi, good evening, Mayor and Council. Do I need to state my name and address?
Yes.
Okay. My name's Nikki Moylan. I live at 108 West Kenilworth in Prospect Heights. Good evening. I'm speaking to you tonight regarding the handling of the current issue of chicken ownership in our city. And I do realize there's a meeting on Wednesday, so I'm not here to discuss my opinion on the issue. But I do want to express my frustration and just how it's being handled. So my first issue with how this is being handled dates all the way back to October, when 3 residents came to the city council meeting to complain about their neighbor's chicken ownership. Since then, there have been 2 public meetings addressing how everyone in our city may now be regulated on this issue. But by the March meeting, where 2 of those residents were present, it appears that they still have the same issues, okay? So I'm not sure what has happened between October and at least March, if not potentially even June, which is very concerning as a resident and for them as well. So instead, it seems the solution that is currently being proposed is to now change everyone's regulations instead of just dealing with these bad eggs. Had to throw that pun in there. So what they described in the March meeting would frustrate me too. All of the chicken owners present at that March meeting sympathized with them. We were like chatting with each other by the end of it, saying exactly what they were hoping people would hear them and realize that if what they're saying is true, it should be dealt with by our city. I don't believe the issue is to change the regulations for everybody. So my second issue with how this is being handled is the fact that we have a meeting scheduled for Wednesday where Dan Peterson will be stating his recommendations for changing our laws on chicken ownership. But he's already gone public with these proposed regulations in a June 14th article from the Daily Herald in which he was quoted, which is very disappointing. After the January meeting, which was standing room only and went past 10 p.m. in order to hear the many residents who opposed changing our laws, Dan Peterson personally spoke with chicken owners Tiffany Hinton, who's here with me tonight, and Grace Martinez, who couldn't be here. And he expressed the desire to work together so that we can find common ground on this issue, so that chicken owners maintain their rights and are not unnecessarily regulated, and so that those experiencing issues with their neighbors can get them resolved. This outreach, by the way, was very much welcome and appreciated. We were so happy that Dan wanted to work with us. So Grace and Tiffany then reached out to me and a few other chicken owners after this meeting so that we could put together this information and recommendations to Mr. Peterson on this issue. We provided him with the requested information. We all met several times to put all this together, again, to make sure that we were providing him with solutions that would help people on both sides of the issue. Who have done all the legwork on this are happy to provide this information to you as the city council so that you can make a truly informed decision when it comes to you guys voting on this topic, and so that the needs of the compliant chicken owning residents, most of who specifically stated that they moved to our wonderful city because of our chicken allowances, and we don't want them to be punished for the very small number of people who are doing the wrong thing. I believe in the importance and the ability to work together to come to a consensus. I believe the only changes we need to make at this time are enforcement of proper coop and auxiliary structures, which Mr. Peterson mentioned several times. We all agree that that needs to be looked at. A free annual permit and enforcement of existing city codes regarding noise and animal welfare. We're a close-knit community. I love Prospect Heights. We talk to our neighbors, I share eggs with them. In all the Prospect Heights social media groups, people are upset and feel disrespected by the way that this issue is being handled. Dan, I know you don't live here, but we do. And it's really unfortunate that this is happening and that we feel that an issue that affects all of us, that we're not being heard on. But again, we're available. We've done a lot of legwork on this, and we would really hope that City Council or whoever is willing to hear us will listen to the residents, the constituents, and come up with a solution that is also grounded in data and science and works for everybody. Thank you.
Thank
Should
you.
I stay up here for questions or?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Is that it, just one?
Yes.
Okay. No executive session tonight, no action on that executive session, so I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Anderson.
Second, Cameron.
We have a first and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.